वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 16, Text number 31. Mayi samramba yogena, Mayi samramba yogena, Nistirya Brahma Helanam, Nistirya Brahma Helanam, Pratyasyeshtam Nikasam में प्रत्येष्टम निकासम में कालेना अल्पीयशा पुनः कालेन अल्पीयशा पुनः मयि संरंभ योगेन निस्तीर्या ब्रह्म हेलनम प्रत्येष्यतम निकासम में कालेनाल्पीयस पुनः मयि संरंभ योगेन निस्तीर्या ब्रह्म हेलनम प्रत्येष्यतम निकासम में कालेनाल्पीयस पुनः। Mayi, unto me, samramba yogena, by practice of mystic yoga in anger, nistirya, being liberated from, brahma helanam, the result of disobedience to the brāhmaṇas, pratyeshyatam, will come back, nikasam, near, me, kalena, in due course of time, alpiyasa, very short, punaha, again. Translation and purport by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. The Lord assured the two Vaikuṇṭha inhabitants Jaya and Vijaya, by practicing the mystic yoga system in anger, you will be cleansed of the sin of disobeying the brāhmaṇas, and within a very short time return to me. Please repeat the translation. The Lord assured the two Vaikuṇṭha inhabitants, Jaya and Vijaya, by practicing the mystic yoga system in anger, you will be cleansed of the sin of disobeying the brāhmaṇas, and within a very short time return to me. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Lord advised the two doorkeepers, Jaya and Vijaya, that by dint of bhakti yoga in anger, they would be delivered from the curses of the brāhmaṇas. Srila Madhva Muni remarks in this connection that by practicing bhakti yoga, one can become free from all sinful reactions. Even a brahmashapa or curse by a brahmana, which cannot be overcome by any other means, can be overcome by bhakti yoga. One can practice bhakti yoga in many rasas. There are 12 rasas, 5 primary and 7 secondary. The 5 primary rasas constitute Bhakti Yoga, but although the 7 secondary rasas are indirect, they are also counted within Bhakti Yoga if they are used in the service of the Lord. In other words, Bhakti Yoga is all inclusive. If one somehow or other becomes attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he becomes engaged in Bhakti Yoga. As described in Srimad Bhagavatam, Kamam Krodam Bhayam. The gopis were attracted to Krishna by Bhakti Yoga in a relationship of lusty desire, Kama. Similarly, Kamsa was attached to Bhakti Yoga by dint of fear of his death. Thus, Bhakti Yoga is so powerful that even becoming an enemy of the Lord and always thinking of Him can deliver one very quickly. It is said, Vishnu Bhakta Smrto Deva Asurastad Viparyayaha. Devotees of Vishnu are called, Lord Vishnu are called demigods, whereas non-devotees are called asuras. But Bhakti Yoga is so powerful that both demigods and asuras can derive its benefit if they always think of the personality of Godhead. The basic principle of Bhakti Yoga is to think of the Supreme Lord always. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Manmana bhava madbhaktaha, always think of me. It does not matter which way one thinks. The very thought of the personality of Godhead is a basic principle of Bhakti Yoga. In the material planets, there are different grades of sinful activities, of which disrespecting a Brahmana or a Vaishnava is the most sinful. Here it is clearly stated that one can overcome even the grave sin simply by thinking of Vishnu, not even favorably but in anger. Thus, even if those who are not devotees always think of Vishnu, they become free from all sinful activities. Krishna consciousness is the highest form of thought. Lord Vishnu is thought of in this age by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. From the statements of Bhagavatam, it appears that if one thinks of Krishna even as an enemy, that particular qualification, thinking of Vishnu or Krishna, cleanses one of all sins. That's the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimira Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuramilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here the Lord is assuring the Jaya Vijaya. In the last verse, He said, do not fear. Now, how long will it take that separation? Lord is explaining in this verse here. And how they will become purified of the curse is also explained here. Mai Samramba Yogena, by Bhakti Yoga in mood of anger, mystic yoga by meditation in the mood of anger, Mai Samramba Yogena, Nistirya Brahma Helanam. They become liberated, Nistirya of Brahma Helanam, of disrespecting the Brahmanas. Pratyeshyatam Nikasam Me, and they will come back to me. Pratyeshyatam Nikasam Me, he will come very near to me, he will come back to me. Kalena Alpiyasah Punaha. How long will it take to come back? In a very short span, he will come back. So the Lord is assuring, by practicing mystic yoga system in anger, Mai Samramba Yogena, you will be cleansed of the sin of disobeying the Brahmanas. Nistirya Brahma Helanam. And within a very short time, return to me. Punah Pratyeshyatam Nikasam Me Kalena Alpiyasha. Now, how is this time period to be counted? So Lord, it is said somewhere else, it is, Lord gave the option of either 7 lifetimes as devotees or 3 lifetimes as demons. So the Jaya Vijaya decided 7 lifetimes of devotees is a too longer span. So they wanted to accept the 3 lifetimes of demons, so that they can come back to the Lord in a much faster way. So that's why it is Kalena Alpiyashaha, in very short span. Because in connection with the Lord, the time of this material world is insignificant. How do we say? When Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is sleeping, one swasa niswasa, inhale and exhale, the entire universe comes out, stays for a period of Brahma's 100 years and vanquished. Just that is one fraction of a second. In a minute, how many times we do inhale and exhale? Average 70 to 80. Means it is less than 1 second. One time inhale and exhale. So compared to Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, it is only 1 second or less than 1 second. The entire universal time period of 100 years of Brahma. So Jaya Vijaya coming back is maybe in a day of Brahma, 3 continuous pastimes in 3 yogas done. That's it, very faster. So that's why Lord is saying Alpi Yashaha. It's very insignificant. He will come back to me. And he is giving the option of the purification for the curse. The very important thing is that Brahma Helanam you cannot do, and there is no deliverance for that. Only by Bhakti Yoga you can come out of this Brahma Helanam. So this discussion has happened between Yudhishthira Maharaj and Narada Muni in the 7th canto. How this Jaya and Vijaya fell down, the reason for that, because Hiranyakashipu and Prahlada were being discussed. Who is this Hiranyakashipu? How did that context came? That was the inquiry of Yudhishthira Maharaj, where Narada Muni was explaining about this situation. Tasmad vairanu bandena nirvairena bayena va snehat kamena va yunjat katanchin nekshate pratak. So Narada Muni was saying various perspectives how one can get connected with the Lord. Tasmat vairanu bandena nirvairena, or by enmity or by devotional service. Vaira anubandena, you can connect with the Lord with enmity, or nirvairena, or in pure devotional service, or bayenava, or by fear, snehat kamenava, or outer affection, or out of lusty desires. By any one of this process. Katanchin yunjat, if a conditioned soul somehow or other concentrates his mind upon the Lord, in any of these expressed situations, the result is nekshate pratik. The result is the same for the Lord, because his blissful position is never affected by enmity or friendship. By our enmity or by friendship, the Lord's position has never changed. Because Lord clearly said in Bhagavad Gita, Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshastino na priyaha. Everybody is equal to me. Sama aham sarva bhuteshu. For me, all living entities are same. Na dveshasti na priyaha. I do not envy somebody, I do not favor somebody. But we always see the Lord is favorable to the demigods, he is always against the demons. So this was the specific question asked by Yudhishthira Maharaj. We always see the Lord is very favorable to the demigods. Always Indra does some mistake, Lord is there to cover him up. Lord protects him. But the demons, if they do small mistake, Lord will kill them. So why is this discriminative potency of the Lord? The Lord is partial. This is the specific point put by Yudhishthira Maharaj. Is Lord partial? It appears so. He is favoring somebody and he is not favoring somebody. But that verse in Bhagavad Gita clearly explains. What is that? Next 2 lines. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshasti na priyaha ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya maite teshu chapiyah. If you sincerely you are devoted to me, I very much protect them. So this is the cause. The demigods, whatever mistakes they do, at the end of the day, they come and take shelter of Lord Vishnu. They accept the proprietorship of Vishnu, they accept the superiority of Vishnu. And they say, we are subordinate to you, we are your surrendered soul. So the Lord forgives them. Will the demons accept the superiority of the Lord? The first point why they become demon is because they are against the will of the Lord, against the authority of the Lord. So that's why the Lord says, those who are sincerely devoted to me, I am very much affected, I am very much connected with them. So Prabhupada gives one literal example. He says, everybody loves children. All children are equal, but your child will be something special. And even in a family, there are few children, the child which listens to the parents' words is given more priority. Everybody will be fed. Everybody will be taken care of. But those who respond to the parents faster are given more priority. So these are the souls. All are conditioned souls in this material world, either demigods or demons. But those who fall in line with the desire of the Lord are given the first priority. That is what appears to be partiality. The Lord can be connected back in any of the process. Vairanu bandena, nirvairena, bhayenava, snehat, kamat. So by just engaging the mind in any of these process, one can connect with the Lord. This further he says, Yata vairanu bandena, martyastan mayatam iyat, na tata bhakti yogena, iti me nishita matihi. Narada Muni is continuing. Tata bhakti yogena, by pure devotional service, martyasna iyat tan mayatam, one cannot achieve such intense absorption. Yata vairanu bandena, as that of in enmity. Iti me nishitamati, this is my opinion. The favorable devotional service, something is called as unfavorable devotional service. So Narada Muni is saying, according to me, unfavorable devotional service is so strong. Because in favorable devotional service, there is every chance that you may not remember all the time the Lord. But in enmity, you are continuously thinking of the Lord only. How to destroy him, how to attack him, how to... Kamsa and Rajavasis, who were thinking of the Lord so much time, so much. Kamsa was always in fear. The moment Krishna took birth, Kamsa's fear started. Earlier it was there in a proportion, now it became exponential. Because his Kala has come to take him away. He was continuously thinking how to avoid Kala. So that intensity of thinking is more in enmity. This is what Narada Muni is saying. Both are thinking, but the intensity, concentration is more in this enmity. Kama dveshat bhayat snehat yata bhakteshware manaha avesha tad agam hitva bahavastad gatim gataha. So bahavastad gatim gataha means many people have attained liberation. How? Mana avesha ishvare, by simply focusing the mind on the Supreme Lord. And tad agam hitva, and giving up all sinful activities. When does Bhakti Yoga start? Pure devotional service starts at 7.28. Esham tva antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam drudavratah. Pure devotional service starts at this point. Esham tva antagatam papam. You should be free from all sinful tendencies. Esham tva antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam. You should start engaging in pious activities, means spiritually empowered activities, devotional activities. Te dvandva moha nirmuktaha. You should be free from all dualistic mentality of this material world. Then pure devotional service starts at that particular point. The same point here also it is saying. Tad agam hitva mana avesha ishvare. Mind is fully focused on Krishna and completely free from all sinful reactions. Then kama dveshat bhayat snehat yata bhaktya. Then this attention may be due to either lusty desires, kamat, dveshat, out of inimical feelings, bhayat, out of fear, snehat, out of affection, or in pure devotional service. In any way, all these things can result in that concentration of the Lord. And he says, I shall now explain how one receives Krishna's mercy simply by concentrating one's mind upon him. Now further Narada Muni is explaining. Gopya kamat bhayat kamsaha. The gopis approached Krishna in the dead of the night with lusty desires. But at the end of the day, they became purified of that lusty thoughts because of association with the Lord. Bhayat kamsaha. Kamsa, out of fear, he got connected with Krishna, but he got liberated from that perspective also, out of fear also. Dveshat chaidyadayo nripaha. There were many kings who out of envy, they were connected with the Lord, Chaitya, Deha, Shishupala and all. So they all got connected with the Lord. They got liberated from the Lord. Because they were constantly thinking of the Lord, how to suppress Him, how to, they were feeling always like competitor to the Lord. In what way we are less? So he wants to marry Rukmini, Shishupala. At that time Krishna took away Rukmini. He became very angry. He wanted to fight, but Krishna retaliated and sent them back. Actually, there is a history between Shishupala and Krishna. Shishupala is the aunt child of Krishna. So when he took birth, he had 4 arms, 3 eyes, and an odd personality to look at. So everybody were wondering. There was a voice which said Akashavani, and on whoever laps, when he is placed, the extra arms will fall off, and he will die in their hands. In whosoever lap, that extra arms fall off, he will die in their hands. So hearing this incident, all the people were coming to see that 4-armed boy. So when they were coming, they were made to sit, and this boy is placed in everybody's lap. So like that, many people were coming, nothing is happening, no change in the boy. So one day Krishna and Balarama came to their aunt's house to see what is the situation. So as soon as when the boy was kept into the lap of Krishna, that extra arms fell off from the body of that boy. Now, Aunt Manata, so it's like mother position. So she requested Krishna to spare her son of his life. So Krishna promised. So there is a confusion how much number it is, either 100 or 108. Because some places we see 100 and some places we heard 108 mistakes. So Krishna said, I will spare him for 100 mistakes or 108 mistakes. After that, he will be killed. But this boy, he always felt Krishna as his competitor. So he was always putting down Krishna whenever there is an opportunity. He was always criticizing Krishna out of enviousness. So in the Rajasuya Yajna, when the discussion was happening, who should be offered this Agra Puja? So various personalities were confused because everybody were proposing some Bhishma, some Brahma, some various personalities. But when there was no conclusion, Sahadeva, he nominated Lord Krishna as the personality to receive the Agra Puja. Then all the others seconded him. But the Shishupala and all, they became because of their enmity or enviosity, they started criticizing Krishna's position, how he can be given that first offering. So when that was the last mistake of criticizing the Lord, and Krishna utilized his Sudarshan Chakra and killed him. And everybody saw in that assembly, a spiritual spark arose from the body of Shishupala and entered into the body of Lord Krishna. Now does this mean what kind of liberation did he got? He got impersonal liberation, or they entered back into Vaikuṇṭha as their Jaya Vijaya. So for that Acharyas explain further. So similarly Dantavakra was also killed, and his bodily effulgence also entered into the body of Krishna. So they all got merged into the body of the Lord at that particular point. When Krishna finished his pastimes, when he was going back home, back to Godhead, to Goloka Vrindavana, then at that time Lord was dispatching all the people who were assembled in him. So when he went to Vaikuṇṭha in this material world, then Jaya Vijaya were dispatched there. Now this principle, how do we understand? When Brahma lifted off all the boys, when he came back, what did he see? He saw all the boys back again with all the calves and all. Later he realized that they were actually not boys and calves, they were all Krishna's expansions or various Vishnu forms. So Shastra says whenever Krishna comes, all the incarnations, all the personalities in the Vaikuṇṭha spiritual world, they are all become part of Krishna's body. So in the material world, when they came, they performed their pastimes, and when they are going back, Krishna departed each personality at that respective planet, and finally he reached Golok Vrunda. Like you started bus from here, you picked up all the people and went to the program. While coming back, what will happen? You will drop them at your respective places and you come back finally with your bus. Same thing happened with Krishna. So when Vishnu was dropped off in Vaikuṇṭha, along with him, this Jaya Vijaya were also dropped off there. So that's what the answer is for us. Because they merged into the Lord, we all feel that impersonal liberation. No. At that particular point, they entered into the body of the Lord, but later they were dispatched to their respective positions. That's what answer we get here. Then Sambandhat Vrishnaya Snehat. Then Yadus by their familial relation with Krishna. Then Snehat Yuyam. Then Pandavas out of affection for the Lord. Bhaktya Vayam Vibho. And we, like Narada Muni, we are saying we are all devotees, or we are connected with the Lord with devotional service. He was giving example for each category, who of what category are connected with the Lord in what relationships. And finally he says, Katamopi nah vena syad pachanam purusham prati tasmat kenapi upayena manah krishne nivesya. Tasmat kenapi upayena. Somehow or other, one has to find a means. Manah krishne nivesya. Mind should be focused upon Krishna. This should be the goal of everyone. Only Vena could not get that association because he was neither in any of this relationship with the Lord. That's why he had to go to hell and suffer in the hell. So similarly in the 11th canto also again same discussion comes. Vairenayam nrupateyaha Shishupala Poundra Salvadayo Gati Vilasa Vilokanadhyai Dhyayanta Akruta Diya Sayana Asanado Tat Samyam Apur Anurakta Dhyam Punah Kim. So there were kings like Poundraka, Shalya, Shishupala and many other categories and all. Nrupatayaha, they all Dhyayataha. They were always contemplating about the Lord, meditated upon the Lord, Vairena, in the mood of enmity. Jarasandha was also thinking of the Lord in enmity. Kamsa was thinking of the Lord in enmity. All the demoniac personalities, all the demoniac kings, they were always thinking of the Lord in enmity. Gati Vilasa Vilokana Adhyaihi. And how are they meditating upon the Lord? Upon His movements. Gati. Vilasa by His playful gestures. Vilokana by His glances. Adhyaihi and other attractions which were displayed by the Lord. They were always contemplating meditation upon these various activities of the Lord, but in enmity. Thus, Diya Akritaha, by fixing their minds, and Shayana Asanado, either by sitting in the Lord or by sleeping or any other activities while the Lord is performing. Tat Samyam Apuhu, they attained an equal status with the Lord. Because of constant meditation, they attained an equal status with the Lord. Then, Punah Kim Anurakta Diyam. If this is to be said of people who are with envious attitude, what to speak of people who are favorably attached to Krishna? See, even enemies become liberated by contemplating with the Lord. What to speak of devotees when they meditate upon the Lord in a favorable perspective? So, this is the question put forward. So spiritual life is always an opportunity of cleansing of all the unwanted tendencies, what we have acquired. Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he came, he was also in a precarious situation. What is that? He wanted to preach this love of Godhead. But when he was in Grahastha Ashrama, people started discriminating. Some people were criticizing him, some people started offending him. Even his own students started commenting upon him when he started exhibiting that ecstatic symptoms. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to find a means and ways how to liberate all these people. So Manah Christians, Ena Tena Prakarena, somehow or other, they have to be brought to Krishna's shelter. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what did he do? That is explained here. Say Panchatattva Mili Pruthiviya Asiya. So all the Lord with all his five potencies, he came to this material world. Purva prema bhandarera mudra ughadiya. And they, which was sealed, mudra agadiya, which was sealed, they opened up that seal when they came to this material world, that bhandara, that store of love of Godhead. Panche muli lute prema kare aswadana. They started drinking that aswadana, that nectar of love of Godhead. They started stealing and they started drinking that love of Godhead. Yata yata piye trushna bade anukshana. The more they drank, the more their thirst for it started increasing more and more. Punah punah piyayiya hoya mahamatta. Nache kande hase gaya aiche madamatta. The more they drank, the more they became intoxicated. Mahamatta. And in that intoxicated state, they were dancing, chanting. Nache kande hase gaye aiche madamatta. As an intoxicated person, they were acting as if they were dancing, they were crying, they were laughing, they were singing. Patra apatra vicharanahi nahi sthana sthana. They were not discriminating whether he is a recipient qualified or not, whether the place is good or not. There was no discrimination. Ye yanha paya tanha kare prema dana. Wherever somebody came in front of them, they were distributing that love of Godhead to them. No qualifications checking. Anybody who is visible at that particular point, he is receiving that love of Godhead. Lutiya kaiya diya bhandara ujade, ashcharya bhandara prema sataguna bhade. The more they were taking out, that bhandara, the storehouse was becoming more and more. In the material world, what happens? If you try to finish, the more you take, what will happen? It will get finished off. But this love of Godhead, that bhandara, the more you take, that was increasing more and more. Uchchalila prema vanya chaudike vedhaya Sri Vruddha Balaka Yuva Sabara Dubaya. Then this flood of love of Godhead, it started swelling in all the directions. And Yuva, Sri, Vruddha, Balaka, Sabare, Dubaya, all categories of people were immersed into that flood of love of Godhead. Sajjana, Durjana, Fangu Jada, Andagana, Prema Vanyaya, Dubaila, Jagatera Jana. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in that love of Godhead, he attracted all living entities. Sajjana, qualified people, Durjana, all against people, Fangu, lame people, Jada, Dumbo people, Andagana, even blind people. Anybody got connected, they were all drowned in the entire world. Jagatera Jana, Dubaila, the entire world, the people of this entire world became immersed into that flood. Jagat Dubila Jivera Haila Bijanasha Taha Deki Panchajanera Parama Ullasa. When the entire Panchatattva saw this entire episode, they were becoming very happy. The seed of material enjoyment became completely destroyed and they all became exceedingly happy. Because this love of Godhead finished all their materialistic propensities. Yata yata prema vrishti kare panchajane tata tata bhade jala vyape tribhuvane. So the more the Panchatattva caused the rains of love of Godhead to fall, the more the inundation increases and spreads all over the world. Mayavadi karmanishta kutarkika gana nindaka pashandiyata paduya adama. Seisaba mahadaksha dana palaila seivanya tasabare chunite narila. So this Mayavadi people, karma people who are interested in these fruitive activities, kutarka gana who are these false logicians, nindaka, blasphemers, pashandi, atheistic people, yata paduya adama, all these students who are in this lower category, Seisaba mahadaksha dana palaila, all these expert people, they started running away from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Seivanya tasabare chunite narila. And before that inundation could touch them, they started dispersing away from themselves, from this love of Godhead flood. Taha deki Mahaprabhu karena chintana. So by seeing all these people running away, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started contemplating how to deliver these people. Jagat Dubaite Ami Karulun Yatana. I am trying to inundate this entire universe. Keha Keha Edaila Pratigna Haila Banga. So I wanted every one of them, but some are getting escaped. Tasaba Dubaite Patiba Kichu Ranga. Now I will find a trick how I can inundate all these categories of people also. Eta bale mane kichu kariya vichara sannyasa ashrama prabhu kaila angikara. So contemplating on this issue, how he can deliberate or liberate all this, he accepted the sannyasa ashrama. Chabbisavattara chila grahastha ashrame. For 24 years he was there in the grahastha ashrama. Panchavimshati varshe kaila yati dharme. And on the verge of 25th year, he accepted the sannyasa order. Sannyasa kariya prabhu kaila akarshana yateka palanachila tarkika adigana. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by accepting sannyasa, he attracted everyone who evaded him, beginning with the false logicians. Paduya pashandi karmi nindakadi yata tara asi prabhupaya hoya avanata. So then all the students, all the Mayavadi people, infidels, atheistic people, they all came and surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord. Aparada kshamayila dubila prema jale kheba edaiba prabhu prema mahajale. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu put a loving network in which nobody could escape. Everybody got merged into that network and everybody got liberated because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu forgave all of them. By accepting sannyasa dharma, he forgave all of them. Sabha nistarite prabhu kripa avatara, sabha nistarite kare chaturi apara. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's incarnation is to deliver everyone, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used his intelligence how to deliver all these people. So ena tena prakarena, Chaitanya Prabhupada quoted that verse in the last perspective. Said somehow or other we have to find means and ways to deliver these people who are against this devotional service. And Prabhupada found a means for people who are not interested, that is by distribution of prasadam. No qualification required, no questions asked. Who are you, what are you and all. Distribute prasadam. Because the more you eat prasadam, there is a shloka quoted in 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Ahara shuddho sattva shuddhihi. Sattva shuddho dhruva smritihi. Dhruva smriti vipralambe grantinam vipramokshaha. So by eating sanctified food, the consciousness becomes purified. Existence becomes purified. When the existence becomes purified, the finer tissues of the brain develop. When finer tissues of the brain develop, you develop attachment for spirituality, and at the end of the life you become liberated. Simply by eating prasadam, no qualifications. So Prabhupada used his principle, yena tena prakarena, to attract this hippie category and all. He was just distributing prasadam. No rules and asked. If you can chant, slowly start chanting. Commitments were later. So this is yena tena prakarena. Always acharyas use intelligence, how these people can be liberated. Because they are the most compassionate people in this world. So similarly, there was one pastime in Vrindavan, this is in Barsana. So we in Vrindavan pastimes, we should always understand they are known as Nitya Leela Sthalis. Because these pastimes happen, the Lord appears here, and the pastime of the Lords happen with no time limit. So there was a person by name Gulab Saki. This is about his life history. So in Barsana there is a place called as Pili Pakor. This is next to Prem Sarovar. There was one old platform nearby forest. This is called as Gulab Saki ka Chabura. Even people, when we pass through that parikrama, we always see that Pili Pokra, you know that place next to Barsana. When you come down, you cross the river, the other side is called as Pili Pokra, a lake where the water is very yellow. So how it became yellow? One day Radharani, every day she goes to Nandamara's house, Yashoda Maya's house, to cook for Krishna. Because she has a boon, whatever she cooks, whoever eats, they will have long life. That is a boon upon Radharani. So knowing this, Yashoda Mata wanted Krishna to have long life. So she every day requested Radharani to come to their house and cook for Krishna. So one day Yashoda Mata became so happy, she wanted to make Radharani as her daughter-in-law. As a symptom of excessive joy, she immediately applied turmeric onto the hands of Radharani. The Radharani could not say no, but when she came out, she cannot go to her house showing this yellow color. So she was very much shy. So what she did when she came to this lake, she washed her hands there. The entire lake became yellow. That's why it is known as Pili Pokra. Pili means yellow, Pokra means lake or assembly or a pond of water. So from there, when you walk towards Prem Sarovar, there is this place known as Gulab Saki Ka Shabura. He was a poor Muslim who was staying in Barsana since his birth. So he was always rolling in this Barsana in the tears of ecstasy. He was always in that bhava of devotional service. So he was always in the association of Brajavasis, a humble and simple at heart person. Even though he was illiterate, he was a good sarangi player, an instrumental player. So during Kirtan time, he used to play that sarangi in a very nice melodic tune. So he had a daughter who was around 7-8 years old by name Radha. So while he was playing sarangi, she used to dance in front of the deity for the pleasure of the Lord. And Nritya Seva for the Lord, Nritya Vaditya Seva. Like instrumental and dance for the pleasure of the Lord. So her dance was so enchanting. So for the service he and his daughter used to render, they were paid a small salary from the temple side. But at the end of the day, they used to get daily Maha Prasadam of Radharani, so which is very much important to them rather than the amount what they were getting. So daily they used to get the deity offering, so that is their sustenance for them. So he was very much in affection for his daughter, very much loving to his daughter. And he was very satisfied with the service of Radharani, with music and her dance, both in the morning and evening. So he was in highest ecstasy every day. So he was never in the thought that one day daughter will get married away and go away. So things were going on as if uninterrupted. So when she came to a marriageable age, so she had to be married. So all the Goswamis, they were all very much loving that daughter because she was grown in front of their eyes. So they were asking the father, Abhi beti ka shadi karne ka saal samay ho gaya. So why don't you look for a marriage? So then all the Goswamis raised some donation for the marriage expenses and all. They started looking for a suitable boy. The boy they found and the marriage was happened. And she went away and Gulab was left alone. So he was not that happy like earlier. So it was like darkest part of his life. He was very disturbed because neither dancing was happening nor he was able to offer sarangi in that beautiful mood. So the happiness in his face vanished. He also lost his sleep. He also lost his appetite. For 3 days, he was just sitting at the door of Radharani's palace and he was continuously weeping. And he was always calling Radha, Radha, Radha. So people were thinking, all the Goswamis, the Sevaites were all thinking he is going to become mad, he is going to become crazy. They tried to console him, they tried to pacify him, but it did not affect upon him at all. On the third day of the midnight, when he was lying at the door, when his eyes was closed, he heard a voice of his daughter, Baba, I have come back. Will you not play sarangi for me so that I can dance? So suddenly when he heard the voice, he became very happy, he became very ecstatic. He saw like a girl, his own daughter, she came back and he started playing in ecstasy. That girl was dancing so much. And that night when she was dancing and the way he was playing, it was more enchanting. It's in a different dimension what was happening that day. To his heart's content, they started dancing. That anklets, what she was wearing, the sound of that anklets when she was dancing was so melodious. So finally when he saw, because in the dead of the night, finally when he saw, realized that it was not his daughter, but it was Radharani herself who has come as his daughter and who started dancing to his kirtana, sarangi. So then he started crying and he started praying at her, Lalli, Lalli, please forgive me. He wanted to say something, he was moving proximity towards out of affection, and she ran away towards the temple and she vanished, and he also started running behind her. And after that he had never seen her anywhere. The Gulab was not seen for some time. The Goswamis thought either he would have passed away or he was gone crazy or he went away somewhere. And they built a samadhi for him also, thinking that he is gone. One day, a Goswami who was offering services to Radharani, after finishing his arati, he was coming back down. Suddenly, from behind some creeper, there was a voice calling that Goswami. He was shocked. Who was calling me at that particular point? When he turned around, he saw Gulab there. So the Goswami was very much surprised. He asked him, did you not die? We already made samadhi for you that you have passed away because you are not visible for so long. Then he started explaining him the whole story, what happened that night. After the Radharani appeared as his daughter, he said, she kindly accepted me as her Saki. Have just come up after playing sarangi to her as she lay down to sleep. Here is the pan prasadam, what I had received for playing for my sarangi. And when that Goswami saw that pan, it was the same pan what he had just offered her before keeping her to sleep. So he was very much astonished. Then he could understand he had entered into the eternal pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So because of his simple humility, because of his sincere devotion, Radharani gave him an opportunity to be in her eternal association. So now what qualification by his birthright, he is never allowed. But the devotion is so sincere that material qualifications were discarded and he was given that opportunity to enter into the past Nitya Leela of the Lord. So here material qualifications are not the consideration. Somehow or other we should develop the devotion to the Lord which will bring us in close proximity with the Lord. This is what the Lord is saying. Samramba Yogena. It is bhakti in anger is also an opportunity because in constant meditation about the Lord, the Jaya Vijaya will become purified of the contamination of that brāhmaṇas curse and they become qualified to come back to the position. Is what the Lord had said to them. So further more details will be there in the next verse. We will see there. I will stop here. Any questions or doubts?
Anger, lust. So did all of them achieve personal liberation through?
Most of them, except one or two. Kamsa did not achieve.
So even in those rasas, some are impersonal liberation, some got impersonal. Some
depends upon their realization again. Like in Vrindavan, most of the demons which were killed, they all attained only impersonal liberation, even though killed by the Lord. But only couple of people, some people, Agasura, Bakasura and Putana, only their family got the highest opportunity. Putana, she went back to Goloka Vrindavana. Agasura and Bakasura, they entered Vaikuṇṭha. So their realization, their pastimes, and who are these demons from their previous life, and how much tapasya did they do, all these many other things matter. So we have to understand as answer we get from Acharyas. So we'll stop here. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Prem.